Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's Jawahir al-Quran wa Durr, the jewels of the Quran is pairs. We have reached Surah Al-An'am. This surah was revealed all at once. More than one narration about this. It's about cattle. It begins, the beginning of the surah, Imam Ghazali, the first selection from this surah, he selected 17 verses. The first one is verse 32. But to pave the way, because really you cannot simply jump into verse 32 and not pave the way. The beginning of the surah has some similarity with the beginning of Genesis 1, the creation of the heaven, the earth, and the making darkness and light. Followed by creating humanity, creating Adam alayhi salam from clay. All praise is for Allah who created the heavens and the earth and made darkness and light. Yet the disbelievers set up equals to their Lord, of course, in worship. Light in the Quran is singular. Darkness here really it's the plural ظلمات. Nur is also used metaphorically to indicates true guidance, while darkness also refers to different forms of misguidance. Nur is one. The misguided, or the ideologies, or the ways of life, the wrong ones. There are many. ظلمات. But since we talk about originally the creation of the heaven, the earth, then literally it's about light, darkness, and light. And the order, subhanAllah, could be indicative of the presence of darkness, and then if you have light from the moment of from that first second, fraction of a second, there must be tremendous light against this darkness. By the way, if you leave the earth atmosphere, if you are one of those astronauts and you go outside the earth, like when you go to the moon, you enter into darkness. Even if the sun, even if it's daylight, you enter into darkness. And there, upon the creation of the heaven and the earth, there is light. The sheer temperature would indicate also the presence of light. It talk about quadrillion Celsius in that fraction of a second. I remember when we speak about the speed of light, of course. And then it is followed by creating the human being from clay. And the moment it says that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed, appointed a term, ajala, another known only to him, for your resurrection. For your resurrection, of course, it's an interpretation, but is the moment Quran, the moment we speak about death, there is an end for this life. There is end of the life of the human being. There is end of the universe also. And even scholars, scientists, astrophysicists speak about four different possibilities for the end of the cosmos, the universe. Even those who are atheists, they know that there was a beginning of this universe, and they know that there is an end for this universe. For them, it is the this massive nuclear power plant. For them would be the sun, ultimately to run out of fuel, become cold. But there are other scenarios. You talk about black holes. The sun might itself consume our earth one day. At any rate, يوم تبدل الأرض غير الأرض والسماوات. There will be changes. There will be definitely be changes. There's a term. If you measure this term mathematically, say 100 years, you divide that by infinity, because that's the nature of life in the hereafter, ultimately, either in paradise or in hellfire. In paradise, it's eternal. In hellfire, for the disbeliever, it is eternal. Though the Muslim might also reach hellfire, but because of Tawheed, because they believe in the oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he would still be taken out of hellfire. Belief in itself is, inshallah, we don't say it's sufficient in the sense of you don't pray, you don't fast, you don't give almsgiving. No, it is the because the disbelief, to associate anything or anyone with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, with God, is unforgivable. When Sufyan Thawri rahimahullah, Imam Ghazali narrated this in the book of Hope and Fear, Raja al-Khawf. He said when it was Sufyan Thawri, Sufyan, he said, inshallah, this is Sufyan Thawri. He was dying. He was obviously he was worried. He was afraid, and people surrounding him told him that the mercy of the forgiveness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is greater than your sins. And he responded by saying, I'm not worried about sins. He said, if I only know that I have the right faith. He was worried about his own faith, his own creed. He said, I would not worry if I had the equivalent of a mountain of sins. Okay. So a term here means that it is limited, it is finite versus infinity. And then it speaks about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who knows what's going on in our hearts, what we make manifest and what we conceal, what we reveal and what we conceal. The mentioning, there is mention of what happens in this life to the disbelievers, and there is a call on us to look, to ponder, to travel in the land and see what happened to them. This is why if you come across an area where it is known to have been a site of general punishment, one is encouraged not to stay there. Have they not seen how many disbelieving peoples we destroyed before them? We had made them more established in the land than you. We sent down abundant rain for them and made rivers flow at their feet. Then we destroyed them for their sins and replaced them with other peoples. Also, they have rejected the faith. Think Sodom and Gomorrah. The people of Lot, Sayyidina Lut alayhi salam, Prophet Lut, their sin, they were the first ones to commit homosexuality. It was not a problem of hospitality. In the story of Musa, Prophet Moses, peace upon him, with Al-Khidr, with the man who had direct knowledge from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the third story was about a village whom they have asked for food, for hospitality, and they refused to host them. Not here. So they did not even give them just simply half a loaf of bread. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did not punish the village. And it does mention that how the people would mock, would ridicule the messengers, the prophets. No prophet was ever accepted with open arms. No prophet was received with with celebration. In fact, immediately in Mecca, when Prophet Muhammad ﷺ announced being chosen as a prophet, a warner to them, and the leaders of Mecca, they insulted him, they ridiculed him, and they started basically harassing him, all the way to plotting to kill him. And then he had to migrate to Medina. And then we have now several mentions of that references to the hereafter. In verse 12, for example, لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ, part of the verse, I'm not going to read everything. لَيَجْمَعَنَّكُمْ لِيَوْمِ الْقِيَامَةِ لَا رَيْبَ فِيهِ. He will gather you. He will certainly gather all of you together for the day of judgment. Verse 15. Say, I truly fear, if I were to disobey my Lord, the torment of a tremendous day. Capital letter in the translation. عذاب يوم عظيم, that's the day of judgment. Whoever spared the torment of that day will have certainly been shown Allah's mercy. And that is the absolute triumph. Verse 22. Consider the day, that's the day of judgment. The day we will gather them all together. يوم الحشر ويوم نحشرهم ويوم نحشرهم جميعا. The day, consider the day we will gather them all together. They will be asked about those who associated others. ثم نقول الذين أشركوا أين شركاؤكم? Where are they? You associate others with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in worship, of course. Where are they? And they will argue that they were never polytheists. They lie. They fabricate. They will not change their hearts. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala casts veils over their hearts. When they reject, when they insist on what they subscribe to, they will deny, they will not see, they will not see the signs, they will not read the verses, they will not internalize anything. It's only rejection. They want to argue. And they will say that the Quran is nothing but ancient fables, myths. They turn others away from the Prophet and distance themselves as well. And amazing verses. This is now 27. If only you could see when they will be detained before the fire, that's the fire in the hereafter, hell. They will cry, oh, if only we could be sent back to earth, to this life. They won't like to have another chance. We would never deny the signs of our Lord, and we would surely be of the believers. 28. But no, they only say this because the truth they used to hide will become all too clear to them. Even if they were to be sent back, they would certainly revert to what they were forbidden. They would not change. They would not change, even if they were given. After seeing all these great signs, after being in that realm, in the hereafter, after they are simply detained on the edge of hellfire, of the hell, if they are given another chance, no, they would still resort to their old way. This is how strong also. Satan is very weak, but with the weak human beings, he is strong. With strong believers, he is weak. Stand your ground. Have resilience. Face Satan, face النفس الأمارة بالسوء. Advocate بإذن الله عز وجل. Advocate that which is good, prohibit that which is evil. They will still insist that there is nothing beyond this worldly life. They will never be resurrected. Think, Dawkins, that's exactly those atheists. They think there is nothing except this life. We are nothing but molecules, atoms, protons, neutrons, electrons. There is no soul. How pity. And we are getting closer to the first selection, verse 32. Losers indeed are those who deny the meeting with Allah, that gathering that day, until the hour. The hour, Sa'ah, that's basically the end of this life. It will take them by surprise. Then they will cry, woe to us for having ignored this. They will bear the burden of their sins on their backs. Evil indeed is their burden. Verse 32, first selection of this surah. وما الحياة الدنيا إلا لعب وله وللدار الآخرة خير الذين يتقون أفلا تعقلون. The nature of this life, this world life, is no more than play and amusement. But far better is the eternal home of the hereafter for those mindful of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Will you not then understand? Will you, all of you, what's in this life? One reads, I read CNN, the website. This way I cut short the. I prefer reading to watching, because when you watch, you just continue watching. When you read, you find a headline, and if you are interested, you just simply click on the article. All these resolutions about the 2025, it became like a a fashion, a habit, a cliche, resolutions. Some will say weight loss, you pledge weight loss. It doesn't work more than a couple of days usually. Sports with only a resolution. It's not basically, you did not create a new habit. But in one article, they simply spoke about the promising to 2025 for music and film and art. So it's not promising for the South, all those people who live in the South, in the sense of they have suffered from decades of direct colonialism and led the European countries left their coffers empty. They killed so many of them, and they have trapped them in agreements. They pay. Literally, there are countries that pay. France, for example, literally, because of these agreements at the end of the colonial rule. So, art, entertainment, amusement, people who'd like to amuse themselves all the way to the grave. In fact, some people chose their caskets. When they die, they would like to be placed in. It could be like a tub. It could be like a music instrument. It could be. What difference does it make? I have been, asking. It's rhetorical question asking people. Muslims do wrap their deceased ones with the death with shroud. Very simple. And I ask people, do these shrouds have pockets? And they know that they do not. And I say, don't you want to put some money for them? And of course, they know that it's I am being sarcastic. You spend this life and you gather whatever you gather, and you're going to leave it behind. And you might lose it before you die. And you could be unjust in the way you give your children. In the West, there are many cases of millionaires who deprive their children totally. They gave away the money, all their money, millionaires, saying that their children should work hard the way they have worked hard. This is not fair. This is not fair. Or they leave the money, millions, to cats or dogs, or they deprive one child and they give another. Not in Islam. Not in Islam. This life is nothing but play and amusement. Like the last night. This is January 1st. How did they spend the night? This year, because of the ongoing uh, killing, slaughter, genocide, ethnic cleansing in the Gaza Strip, we did not see any advertisement for New Year parties. Sometimes there are such parties that take place even in Palestine under occupation. People would like to play and amuse themselves. They don't want to be serious. People are afraid of It's not pessimism, by the way. I hope that people do not really, if you know the reality of this life, that it is finite, that it is short, that the hereafter is a better investment. It is here that you sow the seeds and you harvest there in the hereafter all the good deeds that you can do. وما الحياة الدنيا إلا لعب ولهو وللدار الآخرة خير الذين يتقون أفلا تعقلون. It's an invitation to see the reality, and people know, but they insist or they don't want to be reminded of this reality. Again, one could be very optimistic. One would like to do more وفي ذلك فليتنافس المتنافسون, because you would like to get closer to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You would like to be forgiven. You would like to be in paradise. You would like to be also with all the prophets, rather than being in hellfire. Inshallah, in the next session we will deal with verses 44 and 45. Until then, subhanakallah wa bihamdik, ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.